That's it! Booyakasha, YOLO mode in the world. Pag-usapan natin shortly yung Trump cabinet. This is what I'm saying, bro. He's not moderating. But obviously, brother, I want to first start before we go to the yung mga YOLO appointments to Trump and talk about populism more general. I want to ask you, brother, you are the hearing guru. So anong basa mo sa... Ano na? Halika, bro, tara. Halika, let's go. Let's go. Nakita mo yung interview ko with Trillanes. Sabi,
Yeah, yeah.
Sonny, halika, Trillanes. Kamusta, bro?
I actually like that interview you did with Trillanes, and I'd love to talk to him because for me, Trillanes, I actually used to find him very cringy. Yung mga tactics niya, yung style niya, I find it cringy. But having said that, alam mo, bilib ako sa kanyang pinaninindigan. Kasi talagang yung prinsipyo niya, nakikita mo talagang he wears it on his sleeve. At he really follows the path that he has, kung ano yung pinaglalaban niya, tuloy-tuloy siya. He does not let up and paninindigan niya yung sinasabi niya. Now, I'm glad that he challenged Duterte and showed that Duterte really cannot be trusted for his word. And may double speak talaga si Duterte. We know that eh. And dito mo talaga, every time nagdo-double speak si Duterte, nakikita mo, Trillanes will call him out. At ang gaganda ng mga sound bites. And I love that he even posted it on X and he made clips of it because it's important na mas marami sa ating mga kababayan na nakikita to at malalaman yung totoong nangyari kasi like the viewer said nga, ang problema natin ngayon is ang dami mga DDS trolls that are spinning it around na parang Duterte had the Quadcom, natakot sila sa kanya. Pero labas mo nga yung harapan nila ni Trillanes, tingnan mo kung sinong napikon doon. Remember, ang pikon, talo. Yun lang yun. May meme na nga with the Trillanes smirking eh. Pag may nangasar sa'yo, yung smirk na lang eh. Yan, galing din. Love it.
Definitely, set up ko rin kayo para maganda ng usapan natin. Kailangan din natin ng mga more. No, no, honestly, bati ako dati parang, wait lang, di ba nag-kudeta to ilang beses? Ganda ang leader ng Democratic Opposition. I mean, aminin ko kahit kaibigan ko si Sunny, parang, ano to? Tapos, dati di ba yung nag-backdoor diplomacy siya sa West Philippines, si Scarborough. So sabi ko, parang wait lang, baguhan lang siya, di ba? So to be honest,
Yep.
medyo, I think marami sa atin, hindi lang ikaw, nung sa una medyo iniisip, ano bang, what's going on there? Ano bang meron dyan? Pero talaga nakita natin over time, I think sobrang vindicated si
Mm.
Senator Trillanes. At obviously, syempre medyo nakita mo sa Twitter, naka-cancel kami ni Trillanes nung isang buwan dahil, di ba, na-criticize namin yung meeting with Sara, di ba? So mukhang I'm glad na ano siya eh. Ito na yung ultimate vindication niya. But before I go more to Trillanes, pag-usapan natin si Trillanes, unahin muna natin si Ma'am De Lima. Again, ikaw
Mm.
yung unang tao. Ito yung gusto ko sa'yo. Medyo ano, although misogynist ka daw. No, just kidding. No,
May
no, no.
nagsabi misogynist ako? Seryoso?
Hindi, di ba I don't know kung ano pinag-usapan natin nun. Basta alam mo na maraming sensitivity. Yung sinabi mo yata weird si Kamala. Parang, what? Parang
Oh,
naging...
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Alam mo na mga tao, they tend to misunderstand. Sabi ko, hindi mabait yan si Chris. Pero balikan natin, si Ma'am De Lima, o how do you think Senator De Lima, Attorney De Lima, yung kanyang performance? Kasi ikaw, in fairness sa'yo, you openly said na medyo malamnaw
Yep.
ng konti nung sa Senate. Pero ever since, nagbe-build up na siya. And the fact na magkatabi na naman sila ni Duterte,
Yeah.
no? I mean, dapat gaganunin pa ni Duterte, gaganunin pa niya, di ba? Bastos. Yan ang
Yep.
misogynist. Yan ang bastos, brother. Hindi ikaw. Yan ang bastos na misogynist.
Alam mo with De Lima, first of all, by the way, I'll be doing a one-on-one interview with De Lima in person on Friday. And I'll post that video probably sometime next week. It's gonna be a good talk kasi I'm gonna ask her a lot of tough questions. I'm gonna challenge her views. And I'm gonna challenge her position and her strategy. So I told naman the people of De Lima that yun lang I'm gonna be very tough with my questions and I'm really going to challenge a lot of what happened. Kasi there are things that De Lima did I agree with. There are things that I don't really agree with. But overall, what happened to her, I mean, generally, I'm on her side in this one talaga. So when it came to the Quadcom, alam mo, yung nangyari sa Senate versus sa Quadcom, it was a different dilemma. This dilemma was more feisty. I guess she heard the comments or maybe she saw herself at nakita niya na, oy, wait a minute, teka, I need to improve on this and that's a good
Maka-vote.
thing. Oh, at saka to lang, sa akin tinanong siya ng Quadcom, gusto mo ba lumipat? Kasi nga, muntik nga nagkasapakan, sa gitna siya eh. Pero bilib ako, sabi niya, nope. Sabi niya, it's not comfortable, but I'm gonna sit here. Ganyan. And I like that. And the Lima showed more resolve during the Quadcom. And I think it's also because nakakatulong din, nakikita mo na hindi lahat ng nasa harapan mo ay yung mga kaalyado ni Duterte. Kasi yung sa Senate, alalahanin mo, may ando doon si Bato, ando si Robin Hood, tapos yung mga ibang senador pa, sina Jinggoy, lahat yung kaaway niya yan lahat eh. Kaya medyo nakakakaba yung sitwasyon na yun. At dito nakita mo din sa Quadcom that they were more even with how they treated everyone. They were more fair about it. And I don't even agree with the fairness at times. Nung medyo I thought they were giving Digong too much leeway at times. And plus, pinagalitan pa si Trillanes versus si Digong about an altercation they had about yun na nga, yung bank account. Tapos, sasabihin pa ni Abante na I don't agree na ICC should be doing anything, ganyan-ganyan. I'm not gonna cooperate. I'm like, ang gulo nila. Pero De Lima held her own in this Quadcom, and she showed great composure no matter what. And
Eh, nung makipagsapakan na yung dalawa, no, nakaganon lang siya, tapos yung
yeah,
parang
yeah.
nakakatawa pa, di ba?
I'm actually gonna ask her, ano sinabi mo kay Digong? Because she said something to Digong. At that moment, may sinabi siya eh. I saw
Tama
her
na yan,
moving her
tama
mouth.
na.
Ano, ewan ko na sinasabi niya. Pero at that moment talaga sabi ko, oh, good, good for her. So, yeah. So, I'm happy that she was able to redeem herself. And, you know, I understand her position. And this is still a good look for her coming into the elections in May 2025.
100%. Galing-galing ni brother. Bago tayo mag-transition to the rest of the Quadcom, including yung overall organizational, tanong lang kita, ano yung mga sa tingin mo na kailangan pa i-clarify ni Senator De Lima? Ito ba ay may kinalaman dun sa sinasabi ni Jinggoy na bakit nung DOJ secretary ka, hindi nangyari ito, hindi nangyari dyan? Ito ba yung mga gaps na tinitignan mo? Ano bang mga gusto mong makita in terms of explanation, clarification? Saan ka nagkakulang ba, pare?
Yeah, if you're referring to the Lima's incarceration, or are you talking about the overall
Eh, yung
drug war,
DOJ secretary
EJPs?
siya. Oo, bakit hindi walang nangyari dun sa mga kaso ni Digong? Mayor pa siya, di ba? Hindi pa
Yeah.
PRRT, MRD pa lang siya. Eh, she has been on the guy. So, yung attack line ni Jingo, obviously BS yan sa akin. But
Yep.
nevertheless, yun ba yung tatanungin mo na what went wrong or bakit hindi actionan yan?
Yeah, definitely that's one of the questions I'd like to know mismo. Kasi recently I've actually been going through na nga all the possible points na pwedeng kasuhan si Digong, and I see so many points na pwedeng makasuhan na nga si Digong. And it's such a question for me na hindi pa siya nakakasuhan. But having said that, so on the Lima side, wala na siyang magagawa. She's a private citizen, and Trillanes has already filed certain cases against Digong, Pulong, and si Manscarpio. So let that take its course right now. And honestly, Delima, where she should file a case is this. Yung pagka false accusation and incarceration niya, dun siya mag-file. And I'm wondering bakit hindi pa niya yun na-file. Because she has a strong case even with the existing laws. Kaya
Yes, yes,
nagtataka
yes.
talaga ako kung what is if something's holding her back. Is it legal? Pero I mean, she's an attorney. She knows attorneys, and I'm sure people are willing to do this pro bono.
Or baka strategy. Baka may strategy also.
Could be a strategy, could be a timing. So I don't know. But one thing I will say, is that I don't know if you saw this, it came out the news today, literally just like I think an hour ago or 2 hours ago, that the DOJ now is gonna study na talaga, seriously study daw, yung possibility of charging Duterte with crimes against humanity. Like they actually declared it. If I am not mistaken, they must have done
Under
a
Philippine Constitution, hindi ito yung ICC.
yes, so under Philippine Constitution. Now, I don't know if we talked about it the last time at nabanggit ko ba sa'yo, yung ako mismo, and tell me what you think. I want to see your perspective on this. But ako mismo, I don't want the Philippine government to file charges against Duterte. Why? Because I think that our justice system is compromised. I do believe that. I do believe that we're not gonna get a fair trial for the victims, because whether it's fear or whether it's favor, I don't know what it is. I think that the justices are not gonna be blind to true blind justice where it's pantay kahit sino-sino ka man. I think the Duterte being a former president is gonna play very heavily into this. Not only that, if that case does progress, then hindi na papakialaman to ng ICC. That's why I'd love for ICC to do it because I know ICC will be more fair about it and will be able to flesh out the information and what is the reality. Ikaw, ano tingin mo dito?
Yeah, I mean, I think yun din yung dahilan na sinasabi ni iba, even si Justice Carpenter Andres, na si Kiboloy pa lang dapat diniretso na sa Albuquerque, ay sorry, sa FBI sa US, di ba? John Jones na yung Albuquerque. Kasi yun nga pag sa US, ano na daw naka-ready na andyan na, planchado na yung kaso lahat, ebidensya ganun, at maaasahan mo yung sistema sa Amerika, no? In terms of injustice system nila. Obviously, lahat ng bagay ay relative, di ba? Hindi naman perfect yung American system. Pero at
Yep.
least dun sa kaso ni Kibuloy, nakaset na yung FBI case. Kaya nga FBI wanted list na sila at saka nakaset yung court cases. So yun yung argument. So kung Kibuloy pa lang, no offense, hindi ko sinasabi na hindi siya pinakamahalagang tao sa buong universe. Pero kung Kibuloy pa lang may nagsasabi na baka mas maganda na diretso na siya sa US, wag muna dumaan dito, lalong-lalo na si Digong, kaya nga tama yung argumento mo pare doon sa Senado. Nakitang-kita mo takot pa rin yung ibang Senado na to cross to
Yeah.
cross 30. In fact, kanina lang nakita natin yung ibang senador, hindi na natin kailangan pangalanan, baka nakikinig
Ah,
natin, na nakipag-meet kay Sara, gusto nila pataas yung budget. So, kita mo talaga pare, takot talaga yung ibang senador na offense or kung hindi takot, parati nilang consideration na mawawalan sila ng suporta sa Mindanao, baka yayarin sila mamaya, or kung tatakbo sila ng higher office. So talagang may problema tayo dyan pare kung ganun ang calculus. So, senador pa tong mga to na mukhang may ganyang consideration. Lalong-lalo na yung mga ordinaryong bureaucrat, mga ordinaryong mga judges. Now, hindi ko sinasabi na bayaran sila or anything. Ang sinasabi ko lang, yung pressure factor ay masyadong malakas. At napakalakas ni Digong. Magdadrama yan, yung Davao School of Arts and Drama, yung ginagawa ni Bato, times 10 na yan. May
yeah.
neck brace na yan, may ano yan. Tapos si Digong ba, kayang-kaya niya magdrama-drama. So, yun yung sinasabi ko. Kaya nainis ako dun sa sinabi ni Abante. I mean, marami naman siya sinabi maganda. Yung siko. Pero isa-isa
Yep.
na parang hindi daw patriotic daw si Trillanes dahil gusto niya ICC. Or, I don't know if, was it Abante, di ba? Or whoever said that argument.
Yeah, it
Parang,
was a bante.
di ba, parang weird ng argument. First
Yep.
of all, itong mga tao na tayo lumalaban para sa West Philippines, lahat naman nagsasabi na ICC, Justice Carpi, among other things. So, first of all, pagdating sa credentials ng patriotism, pag-usapan natin anong ginawa mo sa West Philippine Sea, di ba? Pero pangalawa, hindi ito ay dahil gusto natin kasi nakita ko parang ngayon yung mga there are a couple of news sites na lumilitaw na anti-Marcos at anti-admin. Meron silang mga AI generated mga ewanan. Yung isang ewan doon is parang may puting lalaki na blonde. Tapos yung mga matabang-matabang mga congressman katabi niya. And then si Digong nandun sa gitna ng mga masa lumalaban para sa bansa. So ganun yung narratibo ng ICC,
Yeah.
Western white man, blonde man intervention. So, dapat very clear tayo, ang totoong patriotic na tao, kung mahal mo talagang bayan mo, dapat mahal mo yung buhay ng mga kababayan mo, including yung mga biktima. At let's just be honest, pare, in our entire lifetimes and beyond, even our parents' lifetime, how many high-level Filipino officials were truly held accountable? Si Erap,
Yes.
convicted plunderer, na pardon pa,
Pardoned.
muntik pa nanalo noong 2010, di ba?
Oh, di
Number
ba?
two siya. O kamusta naman si Tita Arroyo? Related pa kami ni Tita. But aminin natin, kamusta ang buhay, di ba? So, almost zero ang ating precedence of holding
Yep.
very high-level officials. And Digong is even more popular than those people, at least residually. So, I completely agree with you, brother, na there's nothing unpatriotic for asking for not only a fair trial, but something that could work. So, no offense. Unless, brother, I mean, I want to be also fair. I'm willing to be proven wrong by the DOJ and our domestic courts. Please go ahead and prove us wrong. Matutuwa tayo. Pero ang
Yeah.
katotohanan is sa dami libo-libong namatay or tens of thousands na namatay, ilang pa bang natira pang hindi pa natin na-investiga. Hindi naman tayo Afghanistan, hindi naman tayo failed state. So anong excuse?
Mm-hmm.
Limang kaso lang, 12 cases out of 30,000. That doesn't make sense, brother.
Yeah, and then no, I have to add, that one thing that I did notice that is problematic with the DOJ is, and I want to bring this up specifically because nakakalimutan natin itong kasong to, yung kaso ni Percy Lapid at si General Bantag na hindi pa rin nahuhuli hanggang ngayon. The DOJ has already said that they know where Bantag is. They know where he's hiding and yet they have not arrested him. So the law is not working in that aspect. At nakikita mo na may mga, I don't know if it's fear or favor, like I said, but we talked about this earlier in one of our previous conversations that Bantag is an INC member. Okay? And remember, INC has an audience with Marcos. Okay? So, and then the DOJ now, biglang tahimik
Saka
about
PMA din
Bantag
siya,
and
pare. PMA din siya. So, you know what I'm
oh,
saying?
yun pa. So, dalawang level yan. Pero at the same time, you know, what he did, I mean, that's a crime. I don't care who you're affiliated with. That's a crime. And the DOJ has to do their job. So, in that sense, kaya medyo, I'm, you know, I'm not 100% sold on the DOJ because even during the time where Pogos were a problem, the DOJ didn't really move. It was the PAOK that moved. And then even with other problems that we've had with Kibuloy, I mean, the DOJ was kind of moving, but the PNP was the one that really pushed for it to make sure that the arrest did happen. Si
General
General Torre,
Torre.
if I
God bless
remember,
him.
galing. You know? So, yun yung nakikita ko that the DOJ is there, pero they're not pushing like they should. And that's under Crispin Remulla, and let's see what he's going to do. So that's why I'm not hopeful with
Tama, bro.
the pronouncement. It was a press con they did, or a quick interview they did, and they said that they were going to do it. But let's see. Because remember, Crispin Remulla was at one point included with Duterte's circle. 'Di ba? Kaya hindi ko
Yun nga
talaga
eh.
masabi sa na na may tiwala ako sa fairness dito eh. But I am willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. But then again, nandun pa rin naman ang ICC. Kaya sana sa akin lang, pag hindi kumilos ang DOJ, pasok ICC. Yun na yun. And even Marcos
Mhm.
admitted that they have to honor the Interpol's red notice.
Pag-usapan ko rin ng sandali First of all, kay BBM, ayan na naman tayo. Hindi tayo magko-cooperate sa ICC. Pero kung ang ICC kailangan nila mag-cooperate, hindi natin sila maitatanggi. Ayan na naman yung mga
Yep.
style ni
Ah,
BBM na mga palusot. No, but going back to this, pare, yun nga eh, Percy Lapid, napaka-high profile. Inspiration natin lahat yan. Lahat tayo in one way or
yeah.
another, para yung mga babies ni Ka-Percy, di ba? I mean, Percy Lapid was so influential that yung aking lola na I mean, solid North, God bless her soul, na at some point very enamored with Duterte. Talagang galit na galit siya kay Digong dahil napanood niya si Percy Lapid. So, ganun ka-convincing si Percy Lapid na yung mga believe kay Digong or galit sa kabila, ay biglang napaisip sila, o nga, no? So, doon mo makita ang laki ng contribution ni Percy Lapid. Saka tapang niya, di ba? Parang Navalny style na eh. Tapos papakita pa niya yung bahay ng nakaw, mga ganyan. So, yeah, the fact na napaka-high profile case yan, may international coverage, nagsalita pa yung mga embahada ng mga iba't ibang mga bansa, hindi pa rin na-resolve yan. Alam pa natin saan, I mean, alam natin na alam nila saan si Bantag. That tells you gaano ka dami mga butas sa sistema. But speaking of that, pare, hindi ba, ito yung interesting eh, hindi ba ang ICC is less politicized? Kasi kung itong admin will go after Duterte, meaning DOJ, ganun, mas madali na sasabihin nila politicize yan, di ba? Dahil syempre nagwatak-watak na yung unit team. Yung ICC, wala naman silang pake sa domestic politics natin eh. Ang issue lang naman sa ICC yung kanilang mandato para sigurado
Mhm.
na hindi magkakaroon ng itong Gaddafi style na any dictator can go and kill tens of thousands of people. Yun lang naman eh, di ba? A rules-based international order. Now, speaking of ICC though, may konting complication tayo and dito I have seen divergent points. So Justice Carpio on one hand is saying baka ma-delay na naman yung ICC kasi hindi ko alam kung parang kung narinig mo, si Karim Khan, yung chief prosecutor, may kaso bigla siya out of nowhere. Now, conspiracy theory says that because he went after some powerful leaders, ginagawan din siya ng kaso. But some are saying regardless, baka ito ay magdi-delay, baka distracted si Karim Khan yung chief prosecutor, so baka ma-delay yan. Pero si Senator Trillanes was adamant na hindi, tuloy-tuloy yung sistema at papunta na tayo sa exciting part. So I think and maybe Trillanes has a point in the sense that bakit sasabihin ng Malacanang, 'di ba? Lalong-lalo na yung dating katrabaho colleague ni Justice Carpio, yung ating chief of executive chief executive ni BBM. Bakit si Bersamin sasabihin niya na will
Mm.
fully cooperate at wala
Yep.
tayong so you have that from Crispin Remulla before, now you have it from Malacanang. So I think the parts are all coming together. Pero the complicating factor pare dito is also yung impeachment kay Sara Duterte.
Yep.
Dito na naman medyo 50-50 na naman ako. Both Ronald Llamas and Trillanes are more convinced na baka you can get the 16 sa Senate. Ako medyo parang after nung nakita ko yung nangyari sa hearing, ano kayang gagawin mo para yung mga ibang senador ay kumanta na? Gagawin nila
Alam
yung
mo, like sa akin, the only way they're going to move their allegiances is kung nakita nila talaga the tides are turning na. That they're fully convinced na, nako, I can't stay on this boat. It's really sinking and I need to save my political career. Nakita mo si Tolentino, for example, di ba? Nag-jump ship na siya eh. Pero he's keeping mum. Pero yun na nga ang problema. It's the
Yun nga eh,
silence.
nag-jump siya, tapos biglang, ay, medyo dito muna ako ng konti.
Ah,
Exactly, Tolentino was the reason why I thought, wait. I thought nasa kabila ka na biglang, ay, di, mamawit pa rin ako. That's what I'm saying, brother. So, yun nga eh, so in short, ang sinasabi ko, the admin or whoever believes na talaga may basis, kung talaga may ebidensya, by the way, we're saying is, if there's evidence, and ang problema dito is takot yung ibang senador and all, you have to make sure na may cost if they're not doing their job. Right? So hindi
yeah.
ko sinabi bribe them to do this. I'm saying make sure na may ano sila, may pananagutan sila kung hindi nila gawin ng tama, including
Well,
be embarrassing them or something. We
if
have done
okay,
something.
here's the problem with that with that line of thinking in my opinion. If you're saying that sana may consequence sa action nila, what? Are you referring to the executive department? Somehow, parang having influence on their behavior and attitude and decisions, then if you're saying that, that's a double-edged sword. Kasi ngayon, that can be favorable to the outcome that we are looking for, but at the same time, pwedeng baliktaran din yan that when something naman that, whatever next administration is not favorable towards what the Senate is deciding, it actually renders the Senate now more like a rubber stamp, which is what happened at the time of Duterte, di ba? Na yung Senate at yung Congress, hawak niya talaga yan. At kaya walang makakibot, walang makakilos. And that's the problem with having undue influence of one branch over the other branch. So for me, I prefer na let the Senate be independent and let's see what happens. At maglabanan na yung magka-alyansa dyan at tingnan natin kung sino talagang gaganap dito. And even if Sara Duterte is not impeached because mas marami siyang kaalyado, well, I mean, let's see. I mean, sa akin, I don't think they have the numbers to be able to, save her from impeachment, especially after what they did. Now, I know you binanggit mo nga that may mga ibang senator dyan that are asking now to even increase the budget. Ang kapal ng mga mukha ng mga to. Can you please tell me who they are because I'm not sure. May nakita akong update sa X na nakalagay dito na sinabi daw ni Gatchalian na pinag-uusapan daw yun. Pero I don't know if it was Gatchalian that said it or he's just saying what other senators are planning to
Just
do.
exposing it. Kaya I didn't want to drop this because I want to confirm what is the stance of Senator Gatchalian on this. Now, going back to this, again, absolutely, as I said, if there's an evidence to prove na incontrovertible evidence na indeed there's a ground for impeachment, there should be a consequence if there's senators who are blocking the enforcement
Right.
of justice. That's what I'm saying. Not that you
Okay.
unduly influence them to toe your line. Pangalawa, yan ang problema natin, wala tayong real party system. So kung sa US yan, Republican, Democrat, more or less, there's intra-party caucus, there's the conversation.
Hmm.
Ang dami dyan, majority supposedly with admin, pero yung voting patterns nila, yung behavior nila, hindi. So, not only are they disloyal to where they're supposed to be, because kaya nga nag-majority ka, meaning you support the administration. Pangalawa, they're also not upholding the spirit and the letter of the Constitution because ang trabaho nila is hindi protekta. Ang trabaho nila
Yep.
is talagang may base talaga, may basihan talaga. So I'm absolutely clear kung may basihan yung impeachment. If there's incontrovertible evidence and klarong-klaro umakyat ito sa Senado, then that's where there should be cost if there are people who are protecting those who should
Yeah.
be protected. Yun yung point ko. Now, speaking of this, both Trillanes and Ronald Llamas ay nag-smirk when I asked them, so what did you do in the past, especially the case of Chief Justice Corona? Personally, I was working in the Congress back then, just a lowly staff back then. I remember maraming hindi natuwa sa case ni Justice Corona.
Yeah.
To be honest, personally, I have my reservations. So I'm not sure the Justice Corona case is the best, precedence unless you throw out the baby with the bathwater, right?
Mhm.
And the question is, what is the bathwater there na kailangan tanggalin para hindi maulit yung mga nangyaring mali sa panahon sa impeachment? I mean, Corona's case was weird kasi I don't think it was even necessary.
Yeah.
I don't think there
As
was
a
any
matter,
indication that he will support or protect Arroyo. So I just felt the whole thing was a bit bizarre and nag-overshoot talaga ang Aquino administration. And that
yeah.
gave a lot of bad vibes, I'll be honest. I remember in Congress marami nagagalit. Ano ba naman yan? Bakit ganun?
Yeah.
Binabardagulan railroad. So I don't know if you remember that, diga, bro?
Of course, I remember it very clearly. My comment about that is I did not agree with it. I actually supported Corona. And when I heard it myself, I was like, wait a minute. Ang pinaglalaban dito ay yung SALN ni Corona. And at the same time, the very people that are trying him are also the very people that have abused the SALN and that have not properly submitted their SALNs. And yet, that was the accusation for the impeachment. Simple lang yun eh. Nung tinignan ko, at saka sobrang liit nung amount na pinag-uusapan natin in terms of yung nagkamali siya sa paglagay ng kanyang assets. It was like, what, 10 million or less? It was a ridiculously small number. And they were just looking for a hole. And dito ko nakita that the law was weaponized. And that's why I didn't agree with it. And for me, it was a political move. And that pissed a lot of people off. And that's why I said nga that somehow the rise of Digong was not because of all of because it's him, because it was also the frustrations of the people with the past administration. As much as yes, Pinoy did a lot of good things, there were also things that he did not deliver on. Kaya marami nagalit. Ngayon, ang maganda dito, this is where it's weird. Ang maganda with what's happening naman with Marcos is that he's covering a lot of bases. He's still screwing up on some, but they're not things that you're gonna be extremely furious about. You're upset about it, but unlike yung kay Pino, you're hitting yung talagang may natatamaan sa ating mga puso sa mga nangyayari na ginagawa ng laban sa mga iba't ibang tao. Si Marcos, look what he's doing. He's doing correct. First, na bumababa ang crime. Tama yun. Number one. Number two, yung DOJ and the DILG, with what they're doing with the drug case, now they're going after the drug lords that are convicts, moving them out already of Muntinlupa. They're doing everything right. With the customs, they're going to now go after customs to make sure na wala nang papasok na droga. Man, making those announcements, that's bold, and they're doing the right things. And with the Gong, with the Quadcom, with Sara's budget, alam mo, they need to just, there's a couple of things they need to do, pero they're on the right track. So, in a way, pag tinignan mo, no, I hate to say it, and some people that are kakampings may hate what I'm gonna say, but Marcos may be doing a little bit better in those aspects than Pinoy, if not a lot better.
You mean you're saying
But,
it's more suabe din siya in terms of handling? Kasi yun nga, medyo rough siya.
yun.
We plus yung nangyari kay Corona, kaya I personally disagreed with it. But who am I? And definitely I was a nobody back then. So I agree with you, bro, na kaya nga sabi ko, the Corona case is not a precedence in terms of substance kasi yung kay Sara talaga ibang usapan to eh. This is totally different
Yes.
case. Diba? Kay Corona, it's
Yes.
just a fear of residual loyalty and protection of Arroyo, which I think really had flimsy basis. But this Sara case is very, very different. I mean, all of this alleged irregularities, anomalies, confidential funds. I mean, kaya nga sabi ko, there should be consequences dun sa mga senador or kung sinong politiko ay nagpo-protect sa kanila for whatever reason, including, selfish reasons or worse, right? So, or
Yeah.
electoral selfish reasons or worse. So,
Pero,
that's what I meant.
pero alam mo Richard, sorry to interrupt you, pero alam mo that the consequences you're referring to is gonna come from the people. Tayo, all of us, the people watching tonight, the people on social media, we must let our voices be heard. We cannot be silent. Kaya importante lahat ng mga nanonood ngayon, you make sure that you post on social media, you comment on these articles, you make sure to tag all these senators. You make sure they understand that the people don't want you to do this and they will betray the public trust. Pag tumaas ang budget ni Sara, umalagay balik sa 2 billion, they betray the public trust. And nakita na nga ng mga tao na maraming anomalya sa budget ni Sara at pagbabudget niya. Now, having said that, I understand also that there is an intrinsic problem with the way budgets are done in the Philippines. Actually, probably all over the world. And how government looks at budget. This is a perfect chance to be able to change all of that and change the way we perceive budgets. Kasi, you know naman how budgets are done, di ba? You're supposed to present a budget. Each department, present ka ng budget. Gagawa ka ng kahit na anong numerong gusto mo para makuha. Nagawan yan sa budget, pataasan yan. Ngayon, ito yung problema nila. Pag na-approve yan, kailangan nilang gastusin yan. So, pipilitin nilang gastusin yan kahit na anong paraan, kahit ipeke na ang mga resibo para lang magastos para next year makukuha nila yung same budget. Yun yung nangyari. And that is wrong. And I'm saying this na if seryoso ang Quadcom, that they really want to do the right thing, not only do you impeach Sara, you must improve the way the budgets are managed. How it starts, the flow of it. Kasi yun yung pinakamalaking problema. Kaya pataas ng pataas ang budget ng Pilipinas at sa buong mundo. Yun ang nangyayari. Kasi ganun ang sistema. Let's think of how we can spend money versus how we can save money. Baliktad, mali. It's not a feasible and something that's sustainable. And that's why ang gulo ng mundo natin when it comes to inflation.
Well, I mean, I'll put aside our libertarian debates but I definitely agree with you na we need to clean up itong mumbo jumbo na nangyari sa budget, including yung fact na bago mag-election biglang sinisira na naman yung kalsada, ulitin gagastusin
Oh,
nila, alam na natin contractor, yung alam na natin yan, binuking na ni Mayor Magaling
yep.
ng modus operandi in bagyo mga places. So, unfortunately, ito yung kumbaga war economy sa politika natin, no? Binababoy talaga yung infrastructure, yung budget. So sangayon ako sa'yo pare in a sense that sana itong mga nangyayaring Quadcom, Senate hearing, whatever ito, ay hindi lang ukol sa Duterte versus the Republic of the Philippines or Duterte versus BBM. Sana talagang eventually papunta tayo sa isang sitwasyon kung saan sasabihin ng tao, wait lang, okay, mali yung sila Sara and all, okay, go, oh, good yan. Pero wait lang, parang may mali sa buong setup. Kailangan natin, kaya I completely agree with you guys, with you bro, in a sense that, dapat mag-ingay din ng tao, dapat mag-demand din ng tao. Kaya kanina sabi ko, isa sa mga pwedeng gawin ng admin, if they believe na they're on the right side of evidence and history, is i-booking nila kung sino ang mga senador. They could do it in many ways, right? Kung sino senador ay protector, essentially. So that yung public rage will be directed towards them. Do you get what I'm saying? Kasi masyadong, masyadong be and let be ang usapan ngayon. So that could be one consequence na in one way or another, people who want justice or people who believe there's a ground for impeachment, dapat i-booking nila, expose nila. And then organically, yung mga civil society groups, mga influencer thought leaders,
Yep.
also have to seize on that para ma-pressure itong mga senador na to. Because alam natin, because nationally elected ang mga senadors, dahil maraming Englishero ng senadors, they care what you say on Twitter. They care what you say, Medyo iba yan sa mga congressman, di ba? So, I don't know, I mean, sabi nga ni Ronald, baka nga si Abante nagaganon kasi natutroll siya sa Manila ng mga DDS and all of that. So that means you're right. I think public pressure, democratic public pressure,
Yeah.
grassroots pressure is okay. And the government can expose these people based on, again, actual evidence ang sinasabi ko, actual basis na mga
Yeah.
protector ay dapat ma-expose para ma-pressure sila.
So you're making the assumption that there are protectors and they have a interest in it, or maybe they've been corrupted. That's what you're saying by exposing them. Because otherwise, what do you mean by exposing unless there is some sort of corruption there, that or they have an interest na kaya i-expose. Otherwise, if they're just believing or wanting to side with Fiona, I mean, that's their right to do that, diba? As senators. I mean,
Yeah, but
or kung
if the
kaalyado nila yun.
evidence is no, but if the evidence is incontrovertible, if the reading of the people of the lower house of the Malacanang DOJ, everyone who has a gray matter function is like lantaran na to, bastusan na to, and then for some reason two or three, aside from the usual suspects, are blocking it or trying to prevent it. Dapat well, when I say expose, it could be also like BBM saying, hindi ko alam kay ganito at ganyan. Bakit hindi niyo na binablock? Obvious naman ng anong
Right.
ebidensya. I mean, it could be even something like that. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you could be creative around that. I'm not saying na,
Yep.
ito ay kurakot binayaran ng Duterte. It doesn't have to be that case. It could be more like, ano bang ginagawa? So, I'll give you an
Right.
example. So, for instance, sa US, di ba? Yung si Joe Manchin, when he was blocking yung mga bills ni Biden. Or when Trump was blocking the immigration bill, for instance, whether infrastructure immigration, openly sasabihin nila, bakit ginagawa ni ganito yan? Bakit ginagawa ni ganito yan? This is address. So you put pressure, public pressure.
Yes.
Hindi siya yung, kurakot yan, binayaran ng company. Hindi ganun. I don't mean it that way. Unless there's really something, then ibang usapan yan. But what I'm saying is, it's the right of the executive branch, if they feel some people are holding back the nation and not protecting the Constitution, to call out.
Yes.
Call out. Okay, that's the
Yes.
term. Call out these people.
Okay, so in that sense, yes, we agree on that sense na pag may mali, and it's obvious naman na parang wala yung logic mo, wala na, and kitang-kita. And you know what the thing is, mahirap depensahan ang OVP natin ngayon. Ha? Sobrang obvious kasi yung kapalpakan sa paggawa nila ng budget. At bastusan yung gumagamit ng mga fake names tulad ni Mary Grace Piatos. Parang it was almost like a slap in their face na parang F you,
Medyo
I'm gonna do
pinaghirap.
this. Yeah, at saka wala kang magagawa. Ganun na yung dating sa akin ngayon nambabastos na yan yung ganun kayo katanga at kabobo, kayong mga Pilipino, na gagawin ko to at wala kayong magagawa. At yung mga supporters ko, ganun sila sinasamba ako na kahit na may mali akong gawin, dedepensahan pa rin nila ako dahil hindi sila maniniwala sa mga naririnig nila kahit obvious na sarili nilang mata nakikita nila na may ginagawa akong kalokohan, todo depensa pa rin sila. Yun ang mahirap.
Piatos, parang sampal sa mukha natin lahat na sa sobrang engot niyo or sobrang syungan niyo or sobrang ano niya, mga fanatic kayo, you will allow me to get away with it. Pero yun ang sinasabi ng mga iba na ganun talaga sila since Davao days. And
Yes,
getting away, getting away with this for so long.
murder. They're getting away with murder.
Second
Cliche
nature na
and in
nila yan.
reality.
Second nature na nila yan. But obviously, that also raises the question, what assurances they got from BBM initially for them to feel that confident? Kasi medyo alanganin si BBM kasi he was allowing Sara to get away. I mean, she got the confidence. Do you get what I'm saying? So may mga, kaya nga,
So,
babalik pa rin ako sa ICC eh. Kailangan mo
yeah.
talaga ng isang objective, non-political entity to come in just to enforce law. Kasi at the end of the day, I can see also your counter-argument yung sinasabi ko sa Senado is, no matter what happens, it will be looked at as a demolition job or a political job once it's a BBM versus Sara thing. Yun nga yung,
Yes.
kaya nga kahapon nga, di ba, National Unfriend Day, yung mga picture ni Sara at BBM na yun. Hindi ka naman saying. So, kaya nga sabi ko, ICC pa rin ako eh. You
Pero
need, yeah, yeah.
yeah, pero I'm gonna add to that, Richard, that, I noticed kasi nga with politics now, this is one thing I'm starting to notice talaga, is that there is a lot of what you project or what your PR is versus what you actually do. Nakikita ko talaga even with BBM, he says something or not say anything, but yet the wheels are moving underneath him to a certain direction, even if he's negating that direction. So I think that that's just really how politics are right now with the way it goes. And I have to add that I think nung umpisa kasi, BBM being a little bit of a beta male, sorry for the BBM supporters, pero
And na,
beta male talaga
malapit
si
na incel ang tawag ko sa kanya.
Oo, 'di ba? Pero ito yung nakikita ko sa kanya kaya pumayag siya muna si Sara gamitin yung presidential plane. Can you imagine you're the president, bumibigay ka sa VP mo na, sige gamitin mo yung presidential chopper ko. Tapos hindi lang 'yon. Then yun na nga yung pagbigay ng confidential funds. Tingin ko talaga ginawa lang yun parang hindi siya makatanggi. Ang tigas ni Sara, ang kulit. Sige na nga, bigay mo na lang para manahimik na, 'di ba? And then ayan na, pero ang magaling nga, ayan na, you've got the speaker ng Ronaldo. So tingnan natin 'to. Kasi may problema dito. Bam! Nakikita mo nga may problema nga talaga. At dahil sanay nga si Sara na nanggagago lang at walang ginagawang tamang mga accounting, hindi niya realize na, oy, titignan talaga ako. Kasi pumasok nga siya doon sa unang budget hearing na dapat courtesy to, walang gagalaw sa akin. And the first year, Sandro Marcos pa was the one who you said, okay, meeting adjourned. Tapos na tayo sa hearing na to, budget approved, di ba? Pero the
Yun nga eh,
following year,
sabi ko, it
ayan na.
could come back and hunt. No, no, going back to this, kaya sabi ko nga, baka nga talagang good Machiavelli si BBM in a sense that,
Yeah,
silent but deadly. Having said that though, nakita din natin nung panahon ni Digong, or even with Pinoy and the rest, no, na may signaling power pa rin yung presidente. Like, I'm
yeah.
all for working from behind and all. I mean, I'm all for that. But at the same time, sayang din yung plataforma ng presidente, the bully pulpit eh. Kasi
Yep.
may signaling power ang presidente. So I just feel underutilized yung signaling power ni BBM eh. Again,
Ah,
speaking of beta male, I think nasunog talaga siya dun sa first and last spontaneous press conference. And naalala mo yung pinaka first, sabi na, hindi, ayoko ng spokesman, ako nang bahala. Tapos sabi na, we're not that high sa inflation. Tapos
yep.
meme, we're not that high. So wala na. I think after that, nasunog na siya. So, yun yung medyo nabebeta mail ako sa kanya. Parang, okay lang, sir. Ano lang yan? Learning experience yan. You'll be fine. Ganun talagang, to be a troll talaga. You troll back. Ganyan, ganyan. We're not that high. Ganun. So, doon ako disappointed kasi feeling ko underutilized yung bully pulpit of the president. Iba talaga yung
Yep.
if the president comes out and makes a big statement on something, it matters, pare. It shapes the coordinates of possibilities. Doon ako nagkakulang kay BBM. And wala rin siyang spokesman na influential. Sinong Harry Roque niya?
Sino ba spokesman ni BBM? Hindi ko
Hindi,
alam eh.
wala siyang Harry Roque. I mean,
Wala nga talaga ba siyang spokesman ngayon?
wala siyang Harry Roque, wala siyang Panelo, wala siyang Bongo. So, maraming
Oh,
kulang
wow.
sa... Oh, sinong Bongo niya? Sinong operator apparatchik niya? Lagdamay? I
Well,
think so. Versa.
Romualdez, I think.
But Romualdez is in the Congress na eh. Kasi yung
Sure.
operator dapat behind the scenes eh, di ba? Yung,
His wife,
yeah, yung Romualdez is
the first
he's the
lady.
man, he's the man in the ring. Diba? Martin is in
Yep.
the ring na eh. So you need someone na hindi na sa ring. You know, you can come in and parang
Right, right.
promoters,
Okay, okay.
apparatchik, diba? Yun ang term. Parang Ronald Llamas, yung trabaho niya kay
Yeah,
Aquino. Kaya sabi
you're
ko,
right.
yun ang pare kulang talaga eh. So again, of course I agree na, you know, maybe 6 months from now, we're gonna sit down and laugh at ourselves. Tayo talaga in-underestimate natin si BBM. Tingnan mo nangyari nila. I'm completely reconciled to that possibility. But at the same time I'm saying, medyo binibigyan niya pa rin masyadong chance yung kabila eh.
Yes.
Beta male vibes pa rin siya sa akin na minsan naiinis ako. Again, nothing against beta males ah. I'm just saying, you're the president. Bro, mag-alpha ka ng konti. Tingnan mo nga si Donald Trump, UFC, di ba?
Yeah.
Rome, I came, I saw, I conquered.
Oh,
Bro, people want it na eh. Feeling ko gusto ng tao alpha talaga yung presidente. Babae man lang or lalaki. It does or
yes.
LGBT, I don't care. I mean, people want decisive leaders pare.
Yeah, right now I think the strong leadership is what everyone's looking for, and there's a good argument for it nga na. And I heard this on the Joe Rogan podcast. I think if I remember correctly, yung I forget who his guest was eh. Yung sinabi nga that strong men create, protect the community, and in that protection creates weak men. Tapos the weak men eventually become the leaders. Now chaos, and in the chaos, the strong man comes back. I think that makes sense to me. Na kaya nga ngayon, at saka sa Philippines, yun ang isang problema natin dahil nga marami tayong mga single parents, single moms, and kudos to the single moms dahil ang hirap ng trabaho nila. I think we have about
Bro, bro,
15.
bro, 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 ingat lang, ingat lang. Ingat
No,
lang.
I'm just saying that there are 15 million single moms and they're trying to raise their kids and walang male role model itong mga batang to. And the problem with having no strong role model na male, talaga magiging maraming magiging weak men dito. At saka pag maraming mga weak na lalaki sa ating bansa, that brings rise to the Dutertes. Kasi hindi, kaya nga mga ibang lalaki, they support Duterte dahil they're weak eh. So they want the strong man, they idolize it because hindi nila magawa yun
Parang
eh.
yun yung Fight Club. Parang yun yung si
Yeah,
Brad
parang
Pitt.
ganun.
Yun yung Brad Pitt nila, alter ego.
Sure, yeah, parang ganun. And they see that in Digong. That's why yun yung nakitang problem. So now I realize that having said this, one thing that I advocate for is stronger male role models. Lumabas na. And I really advocate for males to be more, to pick up the cudgels and take your responsibility and your role as a man. There's nothing wrong with being a man. And honestly, yun may sabihin na toxic masculinity, may toxic femininity din. And that's really where the problem
I
lies.
think this is the perfect transition to the two-letter T's. Balikan natin si Sir Trillanes and then Donald Trump again, a little bit
Oh,
manosphere to. Ako,
go.
personally, my stance is strong leaders create strong institutions and then those strong institutions create Sparta. Right? So if you look at the
Right.
Spartan model, whatever, it's not like, you have a whole system set up to make sure na bawal ang mahina. Right? So the women are strong, the men are strong. Bata ka pa lang, you go through this rigorous training, bawal lang syunga, bawal lang mahina. So I believe great leaders are great builders of institutions that instill strength. Because yun nga yung problema eh. If you're a strong man lang but you don't build strong institutions, once you're gone, there's a vacuum and then cycle.
Yes.
So that's where I come in. Now, speaking of Senator Trillanes, as I said, initially I was a little bit iffy with him back in the day kasi nga, but he's a coup d'etat guy, right? So parang, wait lang, is he really a man of institution? Pero nakita ko sa kanya, sincere siya when he supported Risa, back in the day when he supported Lenny. He's always willing to give way to others, to support others.
Yep.
Nakita ko, he held it. I don't know if you remember the part, sabi ko, did you have personal trauma? And he was telling na pinahiram pa siya ng bulletproof Fortuner ni Grace po. Tinulungan pa siya. Like talagang, bro, he could have been killed any moment. I mean,
Absolutely.
hindi na pa cute yan. Hindi na pa macho yan. Talagang legit na macho si Trillanes in the best
Yeah.
of the world. Man. Idol, Lodi. I love
Yeah.
the guy. He's great. He's great.
Yeah. And then you're right. Ako talaga, honestly, I look up to Trillanes. He is an alpha. The fact, actually, yeah, if you guys don't know what a sigma is, parang ang sigma siya eh. Kasi Alpha is the strong leader, but Sigma is the guy that doesn't care. I don't care how you look
Oh,
at
yung
me,
cool
what you
guy,
think.
yung cool guy.
Oh, and I'm just going to do what I'm going to do, say what I'm going to say, and fight for what I believe in. Yung ganun siya, malakas ang ano. I have a lot of respect for Trillanes, and kaya I defend him pag may mga away na ganyan. I will defend him kasi I see naman na talagang may pinaninindigan tong taong to. Ngayon, this is perfect juxtaposition to Duterte. Pag nakita mo nung nagtapatan sila sa Quadcom, I love it. Nakita mo kung sino yung talagang matapang. Nakita mo kung sino yung talagang duwag. Nakita mo kung sino yung talagang may pinaninindigan. Nakita mo yung isang wala. It's amazing watching those two together. At nakita mo talaga yung pagkapiko ni Digong pag pinag-uusapan ng isang bagay at siya, mismo si Digong sinabi niya, pag ang bagay na pinag-uusapan ay yung totoo na, napipikon siya, naiinis siya at napikon siya nung binanggit na yung kanyang 2.4 billion na mga bank deposits into his account. Wala na. Tapos
Millions
si
and millions, millions and
Yeah. I
millions.
love it. I love the fact na nangyari nga nun. Sinabi nga ni Digong, pipirma na ako. O sige, sampalin ko siya. Tapos akala niya, hindi oo si Trillanes. Sumagot si Trillanes na, o sige, paeg ako, sampalin mo ako. Pirmahan mo na ngayon. Pucha. Kaya nagalit si Digong kasi wala na siyang mabaray. Wala na siyang
Sobrang bro,
masabi.
as in, sobrang parang second nature sa kanya. Halika. I mean, he didn't even set it up, di ba? Hindi man lang siya nag-isip,
Yep.
nakatingin ba yung camera sa akin? Hindi bro, as in, sobrang legit siya.
Yeah.
Halika,
Yeah.
halika, ganun. Grabe bro, that's legit bro. Again just to be clear, baka sasabihin naman tayo, toxic masculine tayo, mga ganyan. Ang
No.
point ko dito is, I'm not saying Trillanes is perfect. I'm not saying I agree with everything he has done. But I think he represents something that we all should aspire for or look for in a leader, which is pag talagang paninigan mo yan, talagang naniniwala ka sa sinasabi mo, talagang if you have truth on your side, go all the way, even if you
Yeah.
risk your life and all. I mean, look at gaano katapang si Trillanes to fly to the US, meet Marco
Yep.
Rubio, meet Republican congressman na mayabang din and all of that and talk to them, bro, ganyan, ganyan, ganyan. Man, and then get Rubio and all to pass a resolution in favor of supporting Senator De Lima. You know,
Yep.
bro, that was very, very cojones move. I mean, honest, I have
Yeah.
to say that was a cojones move. So
Yep.
I hope people realize. And I said I also love and admire Senator De Lima because she also showed the strength. So this is not a macho male thing. It's a Navalny thing, right? It's a kind of go all the way.
Yeah.
I don't know, bro. Did you watch the movie Gataka? Yung si Ethan
Yes.
Hawke, ninakaw niya yung
Yes.
identity ni Jude. That was one of the most influential movies in my life. Kasi, remember the scene when he was swimming against his genetically superior brother?
Yes.
Di ba? And then, yung brother niya at some point, natatalo niya. Di ba? Plus, eventually, he beat his brother. And then sabi ng brother niya, how did you beat me? I'm the alpha, right? You're
Right.
beta. Sabi niya, I didn't leave anything to swim back. Oh,
Yeah.
oh man, that's how you beat, di ba? Like you go all the way. And once magets
Yep.
ng kabila, no matter how gifted or something, yung willpower mo will win the day. Kaya I love na love that movie was always a big influence on me, yung Ethan Hawke na despite all of his disadvantages, once he was all in, bro, he could beat anyone. In the end, he triumphed. He triumphed. So, and then compare mo kay Jude Law na genetically gifted,
Yep.
guapo, magaling. But once he got into a problem, he was giving up on everything. But although understandable character, he's tragic character. But you know what I'm saying? So may pagka-gata ka, like go all the way, wala akong iwanan to swim back mode. That brother I respect. That brother I really respect.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm gonna watch actually
Yeah,
Gataka
leave
again.
nothing in the tank. Yeah. Fantastic. See, people love it. These are legit conversations, brother. These are legit I really appreciate it. Now let's go to the last part of our conversation, brother. Trump, right? So, ngayon ang dami na lumalabas mga liberal analysis, New York Times, among others, na Trump dominated the manosphere, right? The sphere that the establishment media ignored, right? Ito mga Theo Von guy, nako po lang dyan, yung mga redneck style, and then go lang si Trump and all of that. For you, as someone who's also a pioneer in Philippines of doing that kind of manosphere, right? I consider you as one of the pioneers of manosphere in the Philippines. What is your read of that, and what are the lessons moving forward? Because at the end of the day, the difference between us and sila Theo Von is they sided with Trump. While in our case, we're not siding, we're not partisan here. We're just trying to push the envelope, right? So that we have more
Yep.
critical thinking and patriotism. So hindi tayo partisan. We're not choosing any side.
Yeah, so like I honestly think Trump really resonated kasi with the working class. Yun yung nakita ko talaga doon. Regardless of race, he really came across representing the common guy, the guy that was unheard. At saka remember kasi that honestly, I find kasi nga that there's that uh, toxic wokeness that's been happening all over the world. And in the Philippines, we're seeing some of that already. Naalala ko nga, just to give you an example,
What do you mean
um,
by toxic woke? Just to clarify. No, you
yung
mean that
parang
top down ini-impose ang certain cultural values on the rest of the people. Parang ganon.
absolutely. And that it's come to a point where it's gone so far left na if you're just center, you're a bigot. O kaya you're transphobic na. May ganun na agad. And you're just saying like, wait a minute, can we just go back to a fair discussion about certain issues? And even, yung mga topics na ganun are bawal yan. At pag pinag-usapan mo yan, ikaw yung makakancel. And I saw that was what was happening in the states primarily. Kaya nung dumating si Trump with his mouth saying, I don't care. No more men in women's sports. Screw this, screw that talagang derecho. And a lot of people that didn't have a voice because they were so afraid of getting canceled were like,
Shut down ka, yeah.
oh, shut down ka talaga. Not just that. If you're a popular personality, tanggal ka talaga sa mga endorsements and everything. And then Trump says, no, ako gagawin ko to. F all of you. Up, wow. And then everyone's like, I have a voice. Someone that speaks my language na napabayaan na because we're only now seeing one side and that one side. See, here's the irony. The side on the left looks for tolerance. They ask for tolerance. They say we should be more tolerant. But in that demand for tolerance, they now become intolerant to other views that are not the same as theirs. So they become
Pero bro,
the very
just
people
to be
they're
clear,
requesting for.
again, I'm 100%. Just to give people idea, there's one congressman, a Democrat from Massachusetts, who recently said something like, dalawang yung anak kong babae, ayoko kalaban nila yung dating lalaki. Something like that. Siyempre, nagalit lahat ng mga, they called him transphobic, whatever. And he was just saying that, we can talk about this issue without being transphobic or anything like that. Diba? So parang, ako, honestly, napansin ko sa Pilipinas nangyayari din ito. At actually, sa aking palagay, they're not true left. Ang true left ay Bernie Sanders na may paki sa working class.
Yeah.
Left ay Bernie Sanders na may paki sa minimum wage. Ang true left ay Bernie Sanders na he's willing to take on pharmaceuticals, on Wall Street. Yun ang tunay na left sa akin. Ako tawag dyan liberal left eh. Ito
Yeah.
yung
Oh yeah, you're
tao
right.
na they gave up the fight for working class hanggang cultural ano na lang sila. I mean, I have
Yun.
nothing against cultural but ang point ko is, pare, wag mo impose yan. Wag mo impose yan. And don't forget the working class, yung minimum wage issues, mahalaga yan, pare. Inflation is hurting people.
I love that you said that, and that's something that I just realized I totally forgot about. And thank you for bringing that up. That you're right. The liberal values are about the working class, not about culture. Na I mean, meron din pero hindi yun eh. It's about defending the working class. And naging sobrang cultural war na to na doon ang nag-divide sa US. Yun yung naging problema talaga nila. Alam mo sa Philippines, buti hindi pa masyado na i-import yung ganung toxic na
Sana bro,
kultura.
pero okay, that was the other thing. Nung time na kami ni Senator Trillanes na nag-criticize dun sa meeting with Sara, many attack us saying, oh, we're just being misogynist. And I felt that was like, what the heck? How is that so?
Yeah.
Yun nung nainis ako. Tapos, syempre, I look a bit schmuck. And when with Trillanes together, we look like two schmuck guys. Like, and let's be honest, so parang feeling ko ginaganong kami, sini-stereotype kami. Nakita ko yung mga ibang influencers, tinatabi, ayan na naman, si Trillanes at Haydarian, Trillanes, Haydarian. So parang, what the heck is this? This is a legitimate tactical political conversation. It has nothing to do with, we are all like, we love what Risa is doing, we love what the Lima
Yep.
is doing. So yun ang ayoko bro, hindi ang totoong left sa akin bro. Ang totoong left ay lumalaban sa working class. Lumalaban para sa karapatan ng tao. Hindi ito left sa akin bro. It's something else. It's more liberal, quote unquote. So,
Wow.
actually,
Love
bro,
it.
medyo na-import na natin yan eh. Napansin ko,
Yeah.
nangyari yan. Dati, nung dinebate ko yung actually, dalawa sa mga biggest bloggers ni DDS, na-debate ko in the past. Nung first lalo, kinakancel talaga ako na, oh, Richard is legitimizing platforms. What are you talking about? Let people see na walang kwenta mga arguments sila and I can eat them alive, even if they're all DDS there. Wala kang pake. You should fight that fight like that. Oh, wala kang pake, go. Doon ko palang nalaman, ini-import talaga natin yung nonsense cancel culture na yan eh. Call out is okay. I call out people. But it doesn't mean I'm not gonna talk to you anymore. I mean, kahit si
Exactly.
and all, kakausapin ko yan. Kahit si Robin Hood, kakausapin ko, wala akong problema kahit criticize ko siya. Ayaw yung cancel culture yan, bro. So we're importing. So unfortunately, I believe we kinda imported some of the nonsense. So we have to
So,
deal with
pero tanong ko sa'yo, may mga nagsasabi daw na, nakita ko lang sa comments doon na sabi nga nila na, oh, pero yan daw ginagawa ng mga pinklawan.
it.
Or
Again, yun nga eh,
is it
there's a
all
lot.
everyone?
No, no, I think there again again before kilala ko yung mga ibang walang yan, twist na naman yung words nila kasi nangyari sa akin yan. I even had a debate with some people over inflation and then the twist said Richard said inflation is good. I mean that was the dumbest word like wow. I just said in Turkey inflation is horrible but wages are also increasing so it kind of cancels out in terms of real wages. But no, they just got the part when I said so just to be absolutely clear, I'm all for LGBTQ rights. I'm all for minority rights, etc. 100% here or anywhere. But ang point ko lang dito is yung cancel culture ang issue ko. Because not everyone went through Ivy League school or went through
Yeah.
or yung kaya nga yung favorite line ko, isa sa mga favorite lines ko, again, going back to literature, for instance, is yung sa Great Gatsby. In the opening
Mm.
chapters, there's a part whereby yung narrator, yung nag-play ng Spider-Man guy, di ba? Doon sa movie,
Mhm.
said that my father always reminded me that son, not everyone had the privileges of your education. So do not expect them to think like you. And that always stuck with me, bro. That line from The Great Gatsby, bakit, kung siguro nag-aral ako sa ibang universidad or iba yung ecosystem ko, pare, baka medyo right-wing na rin ako, di ba? I mean, aminado ako. There's a part of me that is also open to some of the conservative social values. But, nagkataon lang talaga na I had the opportunity to meet feminists, date feminists, meet people from different sides. So, namulat ako, kumbaga. So, swerte ako in that sense. But I cannot impose that on someone who didn't have the privileges of
Yep.
education like me, di ba? So, and when I say education, hindi lang eskwela, yung exposure, so a partner of mine in the past was
Okay.
Western, right? So iba yung context ng feminism nila. So na-expose ako,
Yes.
di ba? So that's what I'm saying, bro. So hindi ko ma-impose sa ibang lalaki yung nangyari kasi iba yung pinanggalingan ko. So that's what I'm saying, bro. Compassion.
Yeah. Yeah, and at the end of the day, for me, alam mo, like this, what's happening right now in the Philippines is a good reminder for all of us na kailangan matuto tayo maging mas compassionate, mas mag-empathetic, at
Mapagbigay.
to understand each other. Kasi yun yung problema na we label each other and put each other in certain parang judgments of who we are without understanding that we're just talking about issues and we're all on the same side. Sa lahat ng mga nanonood ngayon, whether you support Marcos, Duterte, or dati si former VP Lenny, doesn't matter. Listen, we're only talking about issues. Yun lang yun. At kung sino nasa tama, dun tayo papanig. Ganun lang yun. Kung sino nasa mali, kahit sino man lang yun, we're gonna call them out. Kahit sino pa yun. And that's why I encourage the people watching na maging mas aware kayo sa sarili nyo at mga biases nyo. We all have biases. Just be aware of it para lang pag nakikipag-uusap ka, alam mo kung saan ka papanig. Pag marinig mo yung tamang informasyon. Kasi yun yung problema. Nakasarado na yung tenga nila sa informasyon. And for all the men out there that are watching, okay? Learn to be a strong man. You need to learn to now stand up. Meaning, in your community, kailangan relevant ka. Kailangan may ginagawa ka. You need to be productive. You need to speak out. You need to defend your community. That's how we change the Philippines. Now, having said that, leaders that are coming out now are also going to be complementing that. That's why I like what Vico Soto's doing. I like seeing even not just men, by the way, mga nakikita ko mga mayor natin ngayon, quite a few of them are doing really well. Joy Belmonte, I mean, she started off pretty badly, but now I think she's doing excellent. There are so many of the local officials, and I'm not familiar with all of them all over the Philippines, but I'm sure there's quite a few of them that are doing a really good job. And we need more of that in the local level. And then on the national level, this is where the problem lies. As you guys can see, Quadcom and Senate. Senate is about popularity. Yan ang nakukuha nyo, circus. Nakukuha nyo, teleserye. Nakukuha nyo, comedy show. Dahil pasikatan yan. Tingnan mo sa Quadcom, nakukuha mo dito dahil binoto yan ng constituents. Okay? Maliliit na grupo lang yan in your community. Therefore, you come out with better leaders than you're getting in the Senate. And ganun din yan when it comes to executive department versus the local department. So, kailangan natin matuto from here na maging mas maayos tayo mag-isip, yung mga pinaninindigan natin na huwag base sa personalidad, kundi dapat base sa prinsipyo.
That's excellent point. By the way, I always make, di ba kanina I made a distinction between true left and liberal left or whatever.
Yep.
I also made a distinction between woke and pa-woke. Ang
Oh,
ayoko yung
okay, go.
pa-woke, right? Ayoko yung pa-woke. Kasi woke, ibig sabihin ng woke ay namulat ka. Naintindihan mo na may structural injustice, ganyan-ganyan. Yung pa-woke, yun yung nag-virtue signaling. Yung nagpapa-cute para magpa-impress dun sa, kunyari, tapos, yun ang ayoko pare. Yun yung epal na gano'n. Yun ang mga beta moves na hindi ko gusto. Yung pa-woke, yun yung ayoko. Woke is legit, para yung chill ka lang. Sigma is a woke. But pa-woke is, I don't like that, bro, yung virtue signaling. Now, going back to this, yeah, you're 100% right. Whether it's Joy Belmonte, whether it's Vico Soto, a lot of young, great mayors doing great stuff. Walang kinalaman sa gender or sex or any
Yep.
of sociological factors. So please don't twist our words, right? And don't try to shut us down. Now, I want to ask you something on this also, because you know, Ezra Klein, the kind of a liberal thinker guy sa US New York Times, he always said the fact na the left or the liberals have never produced a Jordan Peterson tells you a lot, diba? Kasi Jordan Peterson is, for everything you can say against the guy, and I have many
Wow.
of the guy, is he also inspired a lot of folks to find more discipline in their life, a sense of purpose, whether it's 12 rules for life, 24 rules for life, whatever. You can make fun of his rules. You can find, but at least the guy is providing a framework. And then Huberman and the rest, Joe Rogan, they give you tips on, you know, if you're at this age, you know, testosterone replacement therapy ka na, pag etong age ka, etong, like, bro, I mean, again, you may not agree with everything, but at least he gives you some roadmap.
Right.
So, ang tanong ko is, bakit wala yung kabila? Is it because masyadong cerebral, masyadong matalino, or parang hindi naiwala magbigay? Kasi parang yung problema ko eh. Parang I think there's too much iffiness
That
to give advice. Parang kapal na naman mukha mo, sino ka ba para magbigay ng advice? Parang there's something at the back of the head of a lot of people who I think they can really give good advice. Kaya I'm glad you're saying what you're saying. Yeah? Even if you may not agree with Bitcoin or not, at least you're giving them a roadmap. Cryptocurrency could be one way forward, diba? Even if you don't want martial arts, ayaw mo masapak sa mukha, then I'll give you jiu-jitsu or whatever. Yun nga, sabi ko, bakit the right is doing very well on that front? Why is the right appropriating stoicism? Marcus Aurelius, all of those things. Why are all these health gurus online who are more adjacent to Trump than the other side? And tingin ko may ganin din tayong problema around the world eh, hindi lang sa US eh.
That is very interesting, that observation. O nga, no? Yeah, I was
Diba?
trying to think while you were saying that kung meron ngang on the left-leaning na mga spokesperson or mga thought leaders on that side, nothing comes to mind na kayang tumapat Jordan Peterson. Even a Matt Walsh. I don't know if you saw Matt Walsh with this what is a woman and what is a racist, yung ganon. Or am I racist? Yung ganon, like wala akong nakikitang katapat on the left side that can debate points, punto por punto nakipagdebate, wala pa akong nakikita. And I don't know, wow, is that a good thing or a bad thing? But at the same time, maybe it is hard to debate when you're leaning too far on the left na hindi mo na nakikita that, wait a minute, you got to get back to center somehow. Because some of the people that you mentioned, they do sound that they're too far right. But actually, when you listen to it, it's more right of center, but it's still close to center versus the other side, which is too far left-leaning na.
Ang tawag
And
sa
right
kanya, bro,
now,
any entry drugs ba yan? Or tawag to? Gateway drug, ang tawag sa kanya. Like, they're not the alt-right yet, but if you listen to
right,
Jordan, the next thing is this guy, and then that guy, and then that guy. But okay, I don't
yeah,
want to get into that debate, but my point is lang, bakit mga liberals or even leftists walang gana? Kasi, tingnan mo yung mga leftists, usually it's, like, sa right side, ang dami mga influencers ng fashion, male fashion. Paano maging guwapo, strong, you look like a corporate.
right.
Parang wala ka ganyan sa left eh. Diba? Yung parang sa
Wait, in the
left.
Philippines, let me throw that at you right now. In the Philippines, may maisip ka ba, or even the people watching, meron ba kayo maisip na thought leaders that are leaning left versus thought leaders that are leaning right that can actually debate points in a very intelligent manner? Wala pa din sa Pilipinas. Are we that far behind when it comes to discussions like this and conversations like this? Or is it just happening now? Baka nga, is this the first real iteration of what you see as thought leaders? Itong 2022 election was when all of this came out. We all came out in this 2022 election. So I think that somehow, ito na yung nakikita ng mga tao na naghahanap sila ng boses. Meron silang mga thoughts, hindi lang nila ma-verbalize, so hindi nila ma-articulate yung mga inisip nila. And then they hear words like from you, from Christian, from Percy Lapid before. Tapos nararamdaman, even a Tulfo. Tulfo is very right. I mean, pero may nakikita ka dun na somehow they resonate with the people and they give voice to the people. But now, ang maganda dito is the voice we're giving is a little bit more intellectual. Hindi na masyadong brusko at mga siga-siga lang yung dating. Pero pag-usapan natin to. At pag-aralan natin at pag-isipan natin. Hindi lang yung basta
Si
bara-bara
si
lang.
Trillanes at si Ronald pwede maging macho ng left, 'di ba? Macho machong macho. I think you can think of
Oh, yeah.
Capercy. Capercy was a macho. When I say left, of course, because we're not like US, wala tayong two-party system, hindi naman tayo ideological country. So obviously walang clear replication. But in a sense of anti-system or pro-progress, right?
Right.
I can go from Trillanes to Percy Lapid to
You're right.
Llama. So I think there's something like that. Ang gusto ko rin sana makita is more people na from that side of the equation are for moving forward and all. Ay hindi mahiya to give advice on I don't know diet or you know what I'm saying? Kasi yun nga parang how should I put it? Parang yung TNL, yung tunay na lalaki, medyo naging twisted masyado. Like, ang tunay na lalaki ay nag-extra rice, di ba? Ang tunay na lalaki, wala pake kung malaking chan, di ba? Dad bod. Parang, okay, I'm all for that, but I don't mind, like whether it's Christian Esguerra or you and me posting more weightlifting, right? Or Kit Tatat, for instance. I don't know if you have checked. Kit Tatat is
I
actually a very
remember.
good guy and may macho siyang bike and all. And actually, I regret it because I kind of trolled him on that. Nung time na nag-lawyer siya sa anak ni Crispin Ramulla, naalala mo yung nangyari yun, daming controversy. Di ba anak
Yes.
nila? So, syempre, ako naman, being nag-shade ako. But in retrospect, I was thinking, actually, kita, that could be a macho, progressive kind of a guy, di ba? With the bike and all. At hindi siya pretentious. He's naturally like that. He's tall, he's fit for his age, he's smart, he's a good lawyer, he's a good guy. Medyo shy in person, but good guy. So, I'm just saying, actually, meron pala tayo when you think about it sa Philippines, no? Because I don't know when you know this guys, but I've seen a couple of guys here nag-try nila ginagaya yung Jordan Peterson and that type. Actually, not Jordan, the more right-wing versions, right? So I've seen those there. I think most people want to just be like Huberman or Lex Friedman, kind of in the middle and safe. But the reality
Ah,
is that there are already people trying to replicate. So dapat i-balance mo yan. So actually, maganda kaya Trillanes and Ronald could be the kind of a leftist, progressive, whatever you want to call it, macho. I think
yep.
something, and also what you're doing, brother, in a way. I mean, again, you're not left. Obviously, you're more libertarian, from my understanding. Which could go either way. It's agnostic, diba? Parang si Bitag, 20 years in journalism. No, so I think you're also doing something along those lines. Kasi napansin ko parang pag mag-post ka ng something, para sabihin ng ayan na naman, nagfa-flex to, nagyayabang to. One guy na medyo nilalodi ko, si Pita. Kilala mo si Pita, yung Thailand? Yung bata na muntik naging prime minister? Yung,
Oh, okay.
oh,
I'm not that familiar with
okay,
him, but
so
go.
Pita is a very interesting guy kasi common friend ko rin, may common friends kami na mga progressive din dito. Si Pita pare, bago siya tumakbong prime minister ng Thailand, eventually of course they had to take him out because masyado siyang progressive. I mean, pro marijuana pa yata siya or all of those things, diba? Back then was radical. Now, going back to this, may mga pictures siya with his Ferrari, going to gym, shopping in Paris and all of that. So parang yung mga iba, grabe naman, ano to, parang confidential fund. But actually, it worked in Thailand. That the middle class in Thailand in him saw a Lodi, in him saw an aspirational idol, na parang, oh, di ba pwede ka maging good-hearted, progressive, at the same time, yeah, you can have your Ferrari on the sides. Yun yung parang yung openness sa ganon, ang hindi ko pa nakita sa atin eh. Kaya ngayon sinasabi kong pa-woke eh. Kung I'll post
Yeah.
something na I look sporty, immediately, hey, Darian Burgis, konyo. I've seen a lot of that stuff, right? Like to say, uy, hindi ka naman totoong progressive, konyo ka, yung mga ganun. Parang, pwede naman both. It's called champagne Marxist or caviar socialist, right? So that's what I'm saying, bro. Na there's still a lot floating in the air. And that's why I want, of all people, ikaw yung pinaka-feel ko na kausapin ng issue na yan. Kasi feeling ko may sensibility ka rin dyan eh, na you need, hindi lang thought leader, but lifestyle leaders. People can
Right.
blueprint of being the best version of yourself. And I think you're doing something along those lines, bro.
Yeah, I used to be I am still a life coach. So that was my first podcast. It's all about that. How to be how to be better and how to improve and everything. And right now, yun na nga actually one of the key things that I'll be doing when I run for counselor. Like for the ones that don't know, I'm planning to run for counselor in Mandaluyong. Yun ang mga isang platform ko dito is not just shelter, important shelter, education, health. As a matter of fact,
Nutrition.
yeah, in education. And I really am going to push for this kasi yun ang nakikita ko makakabangon talaga sa ating local lang, Mandaluyong muna. I wanna try to see if I can do it in Mandaluyong. If Mandaluyong will give me the opportunity to be able to maybe give a change for the people here. And if that works, let's replicate it nationwide, 'di ba? Kasi alam mo, hindi kaya ng isang tao gawin ang pagbabago na gusto nating makita sa buong Pilipinas. Right? Yung parang ang nangyari kasi nga with Digong is, ikaw na ang bahala. I will leave all the responsibility
Yun
to
yung ayaw natin sa
you.
strongman, di ba?
Oo, so I don't have to be responsible for my family. Ikaw na lahat. And that was the biggest problem, right? Now, what I want to advocate and push is the men in the household. The guy has to play their role. The women plays their role. We are both have roles, and there's no better or higher or superior. It's not that. It's
Complementary
they
kayo.
both play roles as equals, and those roles are very distinct to each other. The men have to step up to the plate now. Kasi ito yung nangyayari sa Pilipinas, karamihan ng ating mga kalalakihan ay nagiging tambay lang. Karamihan sa kanila ay, and there's nothing wrong with driving a motorcycle, pero parang they don't aspire for more than that. Kasi yun,
Again,
simpleng
yeah.
trabaho. Yun lang. And then, tatambay na lang. Ganun. And the women are the ones going out to work. The women are the ones getting educated. The women
Palakihan
are,
ng negosyo, nag-online,
oo.
ganyan. Yeah, exactly.
So I want to
Aspirational.
inspire the men to get back and do what they need to do para to put their role in society and also to protect their family and the women. Kaya ang daming mga incest na nangyayari sa mga squatter area kasi yung mga tata, yung uncle, yung tito, yung pinsan, nire-rape yung mga anak nila tapos walang nangyayari. So you have to bring the strong man back in each of these households, in the communities, para sila yung magsasabi ng, hoy, mali yan. Disiplinahin sila.
Role models.
Yun.
Role
Yeah,
models
role
din
model
kailangan.
talaga. So makikita mo yan per pocket of community may ganon. It will actually lead to a better life for everyone. Kulang tayo ng disiplina. At nag-uumpisa yan sa bahay. And I want to be able to instill that. And that's why that's why ang daming beta male because of this. So so going back lang to that's why in the States there is this seismic shift in now the working class, the people that didn't have a voice are now have a voice. The people that got canceled, yung Kid Rock, you saw Kid Rock in that UFC fight, he was there beside Trump. Pero alam mo si Kid Rock, na-cancel siya. Because galit na galit siya dun sa Bud Light. Tapos, na binaril niya yung Bud Light,
Oh,
if I
yeah, yeah,
remember
yeah, yeah. I
correctly.
remember that, yeah.
No, but he got canceled because of what he did too. Pero at the same time, he was just trying to voice how frustrated he is that he's not being represented by the brand that he supports. And the brand that he supports has turned their back on the customer, the real people that support them. So, yun yung pa-woke siguro on Bud Light.
Yun yung medyo pa-woke na yan. Medyo virtue signaling. Medyo yung tick the boxes. Ayun, ayoko yan. Ay, gawin lang natin yan. Just tick the
Yeah.
boxes. Alam mo, hindi genuinely for, helping people,
Yes.
giving good jobs and training. Yan ayoko, bro. Yung mga pa-cute na gano'n, mga pa-cute liberal style na yan. Yun ang, but bro, speaking of this, kaya nga, I'm glad that you're running for the council and you're pushing for this initiative because just as we are building naturally, spontaneously, these collaborations, I can see, and I've been pushing for that. You and Vico and others, all of us can work together later on in different capacities. Diba? I mean, si Mayor
Yeah.
Magalang as mayors for good governance. So later on could be councilors for good governance, young leaders for good governance. So tama ka, at the end of the day, hindi ka pwede umasa sa isang tao. Pero kung maraming mga role models na pwede mag-collaborate sa isa't isa, hindi sila mesaya
Yes.
complex na ako lang, then you create strong institutions, you create patterns, and from there, you can build a better nation talaga.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to say, Richard, that I do appreciate yung mga ganitong collaborations because this is what makes everyone better and stronger and just more ano lang, more cooperative. At hindi to yung tribalism na your side versus my tribe and hiwalay-hiwalay. No. This is how we all get together. And remember, we're all trying to achieve the same thing. Yun yung bottom line eh. And kaya nga like I don't know if you know Trump actually offered to pay for Kamala sa overspending of 20 million sa
Medyo
kanyang
troll
campaign
yan,
budget.
nakita ko yan. Medyo troll.
Oo, to.
He
Pero
was trolling.
tingin ko kung tinanggap ni Kamala, if I was Kamala, I'd accept it.
She raised $1 billion. What the heck are they doing with their money? My goodness,
Yeah,
this
they spent what 2-3 times more than Trump did. It was really fascinating for me that they spent that much more and yet Trump won. And honestly,
something wrong
I
talaga
think
sa campaign nila. Yeah.
yeah, sa totoo lang. And this is a good lesson for us here in the Philippines. Now, whatever happens in 2028, nakikita na natin dito what could happen. Ngayon, ang difference lang kasi is dito, medyo malakas pa rin yung pagka-fanaticism natin na the last name will still hold strong. Kahit na hindi naman yun yung ginawa nung tatay niya, pero dahil yun ang pangalan niya, suporta pa rin tayo. Teka lang, palpak to eh. Mas palpak pa nga to sa tatay niya eh. Bakit sinusuportan yan? But then again, it's only 2024. A lot can happen. And I'm telling you, I do believe that if the wheels are turning the right way, we haven't seen who the next president will be. That person has not even declared it. That person may not even know that they're going to be running or going to be the next president. I don't even think it could be a Tulfo, even though he's up. It's too early. It's way too early right now. But this is where we all make a difference with our voices, not just the videos we do, but everyone that's listening or watching this, sa pagsusulat nyo sa inyong social media, pagpo-post, pagko-comment, pagre-react, dito mo makikita kung paano natin mapapalakas ang ating demokrasya at maghahanap ng tunay na na magiging presidente na somehow will be one step better again from where we are. Because right now, we came from so low. BBM's doing a lot better. My God. The next one, hopefully, that one will now elevate it to the next level. Kasi nakita na niyo yung mga mistakes from Pinoy's time, from GMA's time, from Erap's time. Makita niya lahat ng mistakes. Okay, I need to improve on this. And then pagdating niya, alam na niya. And I have to add, Richard, this, that like we talked about at the start, one of the key issues worldwide is security. So whoever is going to come to the presidency or become a presidential, that must be your main platform. Security, inflation, and being able to uplift society. Yan yung mga key points mo. And kailangan mapakita niya na kaya niyang gawin at magagawa niya. If they can translate that and make sure that resonates with the people, yan ang magiging presidente natin. And I don't think Fiona has those qualities. Tignan mo pa lang ngayon eh.
Yeah, I mean, Donald Trump himself had an interview more than 30 years ago with Bob Woodward, right? That the fantastic journalist, and Carl Bernstein, and they asked him, "Do you think one day you'll enter, politics or policy?" I mean, no, but you never know. The only thing that is for sure is things change, so you have to be open to possibilities. At yun na dun dynamism ni Trump, this constant ability to reinject himself into
Yep.
conversation. So even if you hate the guy's guts, you don't agree with him, you have to give it to him yung openness to possibilities. And yun nga, if you're not open to possibilities, set in stone na yan. Fatalistic na tayo, manalo na mga trapo forever. But if you're open to possibilities and make those possibilities possible, then things could change. Kaya I think the fundamental service we're doing here, and hopefully more concretely down the road, especially in your case, after next year's election, is at least binubuksan natin yung parameters of imagination na hindi lang hanggang dito lang Pilipinas. Kaya natin umangat. We can do better than this. Yes, we can.
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Yes. And alam mo, I am hopeful and I know that kaya to, that we are not gonna be na lagging behind all our Asian neighbors. Dahil right now, yun ang nakikita kong problema natin. We're literally lagging behind all our Asian neighbors. Even Vietnam was way behind us and now they're ahead of us. My God, I mean, all of our ASEAN nations, they're all progressing way faster than the Philippines. I mean, as much as you say we're doing well, but comparatively, we're not. We're lagging behind. Marami pa tayong pagkukulang. And that comes down to leadership. And let's see what happens.
Leadership and the team around. I mean, it's just not one man. It's going to be a cabinet
Yes.
and all of these people. Kaya sabi ko kanina, check nyo rin yung YOLO cabinet ni Trump to have some ideas of
Yeah.
what things are
You
going.
know, as much as I like some of the cabinet appointees, some I don't like. But at least there's diversity and there's a lot of strong opinions like we talked about. But some of them I don't think are going to be approved by the commission on appointments.
Yeah, the Senate. Mag-podcast na lang sila. That would be an interesting podcast companion edition. Thank you, brother. Maraming salamat. Mabuhay ka. We hope to continue this hopefully every week or so. Get the week started together. And obviously, once the election and campaign starts, let's see, we can do more on the ground. Maybe we can follow you. But the whole idea is a better future is possible. But first of all, you have to try to be open to that possibility. And I think yun ang nakita natin sa conversation natin. Maraming salamat, brother. Talk to you soon.
Take care, Richard. Thank you so much. I'll see you next week.
And
Thanks.
salamat also to your followers and all our supporters. Please continue to support also Kristan on different platforms. Great guy, amazing guy. Beautiful, beautiful, bro.